Alexa, stop playing. The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, probably just copyright infringed, and home of champions of the past, present, and or future. Oh dear Madam Speaker, always not listening to me. My name is Ron Chuck, and welcome to the program for this 26th day of June 2025. We are with you on a Thursday. It's our first live stream of the week because of the extreme heat that we had here in the northeast part of the country. Not sure when we'll be with you again as we're kind of getting to my wife's vacation time, but we were with you today, and we had the top two teams on a Friday night, August 10th, 1956, in the American League. It's the Chicago White Sox traveling to Briggs Stadium in Detroit to face the Tigers. The Tigers have a 2-game lead in the American League over the White Sox. And so, yep, this one's all that in a bag of chips potentially. Paul Foytak gets the call for the Tigers. Not sure who's going for Chicago. The Tigers probably one of the bigger surprises of the year. The White Sox in this era contended, English is a fun language, you know, an awful lot in the era, and of course won the American League in 1959. Oh, by the way, if we do get a playoff eventually, because we're down to the last 6 to 8 weeks of the season, it'll be a one-gamer in the American League. If somehow the Dodgers come back down to earth in the National League, that would be a best of 3. And so, with the Tigers and the White Sox next, as Retro Sports Network presents Major League Replay 1956. Today, from Briggs Stadium in Detroit, Michigan, it is the Detroit Tigers and the Chicago White Sox. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, wherever else fine podcasts are listed. And if you just happen to be in the Denver area for Play.com, welcome to the program. And hopefully enjoy a beautiful weekend in Denver. It'll be Paul Foytak on the hill for the Tigers. Paul is 11-6 on the replay with a 4.29 ERA, making his 22nd of 33 starts. The All-Star, as we said, 11-6, a 4.29 earned run average. He's 26 years old. Fastball at 91. How you doing, Aaron? Nice to have you along. The thing with Foytak is his control is suspect. He is 4th in the American League in strikeouts with 134. His last time out was probably on this channel, on the 6th, against the Indians in an 8-7 win. He did not get a decision. In fact, he's won his last 3 decisions. He hasn't lost since July 18th, so about a month. In that game against Cleveland, he went 7 innings, pitched 143 pitches. He allowed 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned. That's not very good. Allowed a homer. But here's the bugaboo about Foytak. His control, as we said, very suspect. He walked 8 and struck out 7. Overall for Foytak, 167 2/3, 134 hits, 85 runs, 80 earned, 12 homers. He's walked 101, which is never good, and struck out 134. The lineup he'll face. How you doing? Yeah, we missed you too. School is over, and so you're in Turkey, right? That's a long time to go. When does your school year start? And are you still? What kind of school are you in? Here's a lineup for the White Sox. Aparicio leads off at short. Nellie Fox at second will bat second. Larry Doby in center goes third. Minnie Minoso cleans up in left. Jim Rivera will bat fifth and play right field. Sherm Lawler behind the plate will go 6th. All these all-stars. Walt Dropo at first batting 7th. Fred Hatfield at third goes 8th. Dick Donovan gets the call for the White Sox today on the mound. He'll bat 9th. And Foytak can give you 135 pitches. Defensively for the Tigers, Charlie Maxwell at 8-6 in left. Bill Tuttle at 8-7 in center. And Al Kaline at 10-9 in right. That's a very good outfield. Bob Kennedy over from the White Sox at 4 at third. Harvey Keene a 6-7 at short. Frank Bowling an 8-6 at second. Earl Torgerson a 6 at first. Frank House playing house behind the plate. He's a 6 and a 6. And Foytak an 8 on the mound with a .936 fielding percentage. High school, well, congratulations. You are probably our youngest viewer. Aparicio is hitting .238. Louis has 2 homers and 39 RBI. Are you a teacher? So, everyone settled in. The weather is beautiful. 78 degrees here in Detroit. Winds blowing in from right center at 12. Pitch to Aparicio is a base hit left center field, and the throw to second, and Louis has his 15th double of the year. Speed, something that the White Sox have and will have over the next 10 years. Nellie Fox at .291, 4 homers and 46 RBI. So it was cool enough to stream yesterday. However, the wifey got home late, and I didn't get the chance to eat lunch. We'll give you a we'll see for tomorrow, and to make up for it, we might go one day over the weekend. Throw back to second, and Aparicio's back. Tigers at 63 and 44, game 108 for them. They have a 2-game lead over the Tigers, who have played over the White Sox, who have played 4 less games. This is game 104 for them as the cat starts to scream. They are 59 and 44. Fox draws the walk, and if Foytak does that a lot, the White Sox are in good shape. Larry Doby hitting .265, 13 homers and 55 RBI. So Aparicio on second, Fox on first. Foytak deals. Fly ball right field, well hit. Back goes K-line, and it is off the wall. Aparicio is going to score. Fox around third. Here comes the throw to the plate from cut off, and Doby has a 2-run double. And again, that was the Achilles heel of the Tigers in the era. Foytak just doesn't have a lot of control, and that walk came back to bite him as Doby has a 2-run double, and before the partisan throng can find their seats, it's 2-0 Chicago. Brings up Minnie Minoso hitting .279, 16 homers and 75 RBI. So Foytak kicks around the mound a bit to get rid of some frustration as Minoso settles in the box. Foytak's pitch. There's a slow chopper to third. Kennedy has it and will not make a play. Doby goes back to second. Minoso has good speed, and Kennedy is not that great of a third baseman. So there's still nobody out here in the first, and 2 on for Jim Rivera, hitting .251, 3 homers and 34 RBI. Adobe Acrobat. Adobe Acrobat. Is it something in the water in Ohio? I don't understand. I've been playing Digital Diamond and we're playing the 84 season. Yep, that's a rimmer. Pitch to Rivera. Struck him out, and there's finally one away. Foytak worked a full count and got him to look at a fastball. 1 out for Lawler. Sherm at .297. 4 homers and 42 RBI. Shy Sox all the way. John hedging his bet with a 2-run lead. John always goes with the visitors. Pitch to Lawler. Struck him out. So Foytak has fanned the last 2. This time a 1-2 off speed got him looking for Walt Dropo at .290. 4 homers and 31 RBI. Pitch to Dropo. Struck him out, and Foytak got the side. However, the White Sox 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. They strand 2, and after half an inning, it's the White Sox 2, the Tigers nothing. Unless it's the Red Sox. You are a pain in the butt. You know that? I hope that your truck's air conditioning was good. How was the weather in Philly? Dick Donovan making his 21st of 31 starts. The lefty is 9-8. However, his .241 earned run average is second in the American League. The All-Star is 29, fastball at 85. and a ground ball pitcher looking for win number 10 on the season. Hasn't won a game in almost a month. His last win was a 5-hit shutout of the Yankees on July 15th. Since then, he has not pitched all that well. Earned run average has jumped from 204 to 241. The Orioles beat him 5 days ago on the 5th in the 6-3 ball game. 8 innings, 126 pitches, 8 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 8. His numbers are very good. 160 and 2/3, 118 hits, 52 runs, 43 earned. 12 home runs, he's walked 40 and struck out 92. Air conditioning. How you doing, Greg? What's that? Well, hopefully you drive the Yingling truck, or at least a Gatorade truck. I know you can't specifically tell me what you drive around, but is it like a beverage or something like that? The lineup that he will face: Harvey Keene will lead off at short. Earl Torgerson at first, batting second. Charlie Maxwell is still hitting .354. Is in left, he'll go third. Al Kaline in right will clean up. Bob Kennedy at third will bat fifth. Frank House behind the plate will go sixth. Bill Tuttle in center goes seventh. Frank Bowling at second, batting eighth. Foytak will bat ninth, and Donovan, who can give you 130 pitches, smokes a couple banana peels, on the mound. Defensively for the White Sox, Minoso a 9 and a 7 in left. Larry Doby a 7 and a 3 in center. Jim Rivera a 6 and an 8 in right. Fred Hatfield is a 6 at third. Louis Aparicio a 10 and a 10 at short. Nellie Fox a 9 and a 10 in second. If the White Sox do win the American League, the middle defense is going to be crucial because they can stop anything, including a parked car. Walt Dropo was a 4 at first. Lawler an 8 and a 7 behind the plate. He's not Yogi, but no one else is Yogi Berra. Dick Donovan an 8 on the mound with a stellar .983 fielding percentage. Harvey Keene at .327, 12 homers, and 64 RBI. As the Tigers trail 2-0, and Keene gets hit by the pitch. How you doing, Mike in the truck? A step truck. Ugh. Well, hopefully you can wear shorts. Unless your wife objects. If I wear an unbuttoned polo shirt, she'll reach over and button it up because she'll look at my chest hair and go, no one wants to see that, Ron. No one wants to see that. And she's right. Earl Torgerson at .282, 13 homers and 51 RBI. Pitch to Earl. There is a ground ball to Aparicio. Doesn't have a play on Keene, and does he have a play on Torgerson? Yes! A banger and a backhanded throw, and there's one out for Charlie Maxwell. Charlie hitting .354, 21 homers and 76 RBI. No, the heat broke Tuesday night, and yesterday the wifey was late getting home, and so we ate lunch instead of me streaming. And I still owe you the second half of a basketball game. And so, thankfully, it broke. In fact, I think it's like 63 out today. We got some rain Tuesday night to break it, and you could feel it cooling off. Plattsburgh, across the way from us, hit 100 on Monday. And Lebanon, New Hampshire, near where Andy lives, hit 100, 101. Our heat index Monday was 106 degrees. Pitch to Maxwell. There's a line drive to Fox. 2 out for Al Kaline, hitting .299, 17 homers and 88 RBI. Al is a 7-game inning streak. Parallel League says lots of hit by pitches in the College World Series. No, and because they're carrying aluminum bats, you really can't throw a lot of breaking junk at them. Pitch to Kaline. Struck him out. That's the inning. Tigers threaten but do not score. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 1, White Sox 2, Tigers nothing. So Hatfield, Donovan, and Aparicio to face Foytak. Fred at .245, 4 homers and 17 RBI. Wherever Greg is, you're in Canada, right? You're in Montreal? It was in the mid to high 90s for several days. You have central air. I was about to say, Vermont is the Sixth or seventh least air-conditioned state. Only two-thirds of Vermont's buildings have it of some degree. And central air is not standard. I mean, where I live, we have two portables. I would, and for fire hazard reasons, as in they don't want to. My window where I am opens left or right. It's not an up and down window. And so it is considered a fire hazard to have a window unit in there. So we have the portable. Trust me, I'd much rather have a window. It is. Can I see? Oh, it's nice in here. It's only 73. Pitch to Hatfield. There is a ground ball to Bowling, who throws to Torgerson for the out, and Hatfield's retired. Toronto, 88 in Dayton, and Greg is in the Toronto area, feeling the chill of Mitch Martiner's departure. Dick Donovan hitting 118, a homer and 5 RBI, 1 out. White Sox up 2-0 here in the second. Donovan goes the other way, puts it in the alley, and is on with a double. So Donovan, a 222 real-life hitter, hits the double. And now bring up Aparicio, who doubled and scored in the first. Opening 9 for Foytak, 40 pitches. Hitting in the third, 4 hits, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Now, Greg, does you get the wind off of Ontario or no? '80s you can deal with, but this was record-setting heat. We set the record Monday. We get 99 here in Burlington. My computer says 68 right now. It was so nice this morning. We went for a walk. And I live in a brick building, so if it gets hot, it stays hot. We used to spend our summers in Montreal growing up. Had our aunts and uncles' cottage 6 miles from the Ontario. Oh, up in the Gatineau, Ottawa area. Okay. It blows hard off the lake. So at least you get that. The thing is, at night, when it doesn't... It was 82 Tuesday morning here at 6:30. Pitch to Aparicio. Struck him out. That's 4 for Foytak. Paul at 2-2. Hopefully Barb's okay in Pennsylvania. Nellie Fox walked and scored his first time up. This time around, that gets past Torgerson in the right field and past K-Line. That's extra bases. Donovan will score. K-Line fishes it out around the pole. Fox on his way to third, and Nelly has his 5th triple of the year, and it's 3-0 Chicago. For Larry Doby, an acro at bat for sure. He doubled and drove home 2. He now has 57 on the year. Give Donovan a mellow yellow drink for scoring that run. Yep. Quite right. Yes. Struck him out, and that's 5 for Foytak. So, Hall, his stuff is either being, crushed, or you're missing it. He struck out 5 through 2, but another run for Chicago on 2 hits and no errors. Go to the bottom of the second. Chicago 3, Detroit 0. So Kennedy, House, and Tuttle to face Donovan here in the second. Bob at 206, 2 homers and 10 RBI. It was kind of brutal going to Argo playoff games and Grey Cup games with the wind when they played the exhibition. Such an odd place for baseball. I don't know if you're new to the channel or not. We did 85 a couple years ago, and of course, the Blue Jays went to the World Series. And that is such an odd-shaped stadium. But that being on the lake, I would imagine. Now, do you go to Toronto FC games or the Argo ones? Because they built a new stadium right on the site. Pitch to Kennedy. There is a ground ball to first. Ropo was there, and there's 1 out for Frank House. At 269, 6 homers and 31 RBI. There is a ground ball to Aparicio behind the bag at second. Over to Dropo for the out. 2 out for Tuttle, hitting 247, 11 homers, and 57 RBI. So Donovan in pretty good control right here from the get-go. That is past Dropo and in front of Rivera. Fox, a rare misplay. First hit of the ball game. In fact, Nelly has made 30 great plays at second and stopped six poor ones. And if you are a believer in defensive metrics, he has saved 15 runs in the first 104 games. Frank Bowling at 277, 7 homers and 33 RBI. You had Argo season tickets for 33 years. I'm sorry to hear that your health took a turn, Greg. Hopefully you were there for the Flutie years. Only if you had that hotel room parallel. They went from Exhibition Stadium to Exhibition in the Skydome. Now it's Rogers Center. Pitch to Bowling. There is a bounder right at Dropo, who makes the catch, and that will do. Tigers get a hit. They've stranded 2, and after 2, it's the White Sox 3, the Tigers nothing. So Jays tickets there the first 17 seasons. Oh, you were there for the great years. Manny Minoso singled his first time up. Such a ground-breaking place when Skydome opened. Or are you talking exhibition? That would be both, actually. Pitch to Minoso. Struck him out. 6 for Foytak. Goodness gracious. He struck out 140 now on the year. Rivera, one of those 6. Got him. 7 for Foytak. He has retired 7 of his first 8 by way of the K. 2-2 fastball swung on and missed for a Lawler, who struck out his first time up. Foytak rears and fires in the center field. Tuttle has to wait. No, Keene. Well, not as deep as I thought. And finally, the White Sox go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 2.5, White Sox 3, Tigers nothing. So Foytak, Keene, and Torgerson to face Donovan here in the third. Paul at 127 and 2 RBI. Donovan's pitch. There's a high ground ball to Fox over to Dropo, 1 out. Harvey Keene was hit by a pitch his first time up. 15-game hitting streak. Toronto is a beautiful place. Yes, it is. Parallel went up there on vacation and went to the Hockey Hall of Fame and caught a Yankee Blue Jay game. Congrats to the class of 25. Alexander McGillney, finally. Zdeno Chara. I forget some of the other names, but congratulations, one and all. Well, it's not boiling anymore, Andy, so here we go. 15-game hitting streak for Keene. Ground ball to Aparicio. Louis, snap throw to first. And that's an error, so Keene's going to reach. He's reached both times today. Aparicio's 25th error. And doesn't have a hit. Imagine if that hitting streak goes away. You got on twice, but you didn't get a hit. Here's Torgerson. He's 0 for 1. There is a ground ball past Dropo. Rivera's got it. And Keene will hold. So runners on the corners, 1 out for Maxwell, who is 0 for 1. I don't know if I gave you Donovan's numbers. So opening 11, 49 pitches, 2 1/3, 2 hits and a strikeout. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday were brutal. If it's too hot to be running lights, then I really don't want to be on. So hopefully we don't have a long, hot summer. Complicated hit. You were born with hydrocephalus and had 38 brain surgeries. Ooh. I haven't had brain surgery, but I've had 7 surgeries. The reason I stopped going to Argo games was one of the medications. Oh, got you nerve damage. Yep, you got to be able to feel it. Well, I hope that your medications are in good balance now. Runners on the corners for Maxwell, 1 out here in the third. And Donovan struck him out, 1-2. He chased it. The fastball, 2 out for Kaline, who struck out his first time up. 7 surgeries by the time I was 3. So 50. Wow. Hopefully, Andy, you're feeling better. Pitch to Kaline. Struck him out, and Donovan works out of it. A 2-2, and Kaline stood there like a house on the side of the road. No runs, a hit, and an error. We go to the 4th here in Motown. White Sox 3, Tigers nothing. So Dropo, Hatfield, and Donovan to face Wojtek. Walt struck out his first time up. Fine for the most part if you're at home. Oh, balance issues? Yep, I can understand that. Careful with the shoes and all that. Pitch to Dropo. Popped up. Torgerson into foul territory, and there's a fair amount of it here in Detroit. Earl will make the catch, and 1 out for Hatfield, who's 0 for 1. So Wojtek now using his fielders. Center field, Tuttle makes the catch. 2 out for Donovan, who doubled and scored in the second. He's 1 for 1. That's good. There is a ground ball past Kennedy down the line and left. Maxwell's going to have to run and get it. Donovan somehow is going to have 2 doubles on the day. He had 4 in real life, and that's his 3rd of the replay, and 2 coming on this warm night in Detroit. Aparicio 1 for 2. Louis has struck out, doubled, and scored in the first. Wojtek, 77 pitches, 3 2/3, 6 hits. All the runs are earned. It's all 3. Has walked 1, which is unusual for him, and struck out 7. Yeah, Oakland was huge. That's why they're actually doing cricket right now in Oakland. Thing with the old Coliseum in Oakland, they could run that football field 2 different ways. I think during baseball season they would run it with second base being at midfield, running left to right, and then they could turn it to have the entire infield playing it from center field to the home plate, as opposed from baseline to baseline. Pitch to Aparicio. Ground ball to first. Torgerson deep in the hole. Throws to Wojtek, and Louis is retired. 3.5 in the books. Again, the White Sox threaten but do not score. No runs, a hit, no errors. They've left on 4, and after 3.5, it's 3-0 White Sox. So here are the standings. Brooklyn's lead over Milwaukee, 13.5. And with 105 games under Brooklyn's belt, we are pretty confident that you can start to print playoff tickets for Ebbets, or World Series tickets for Ebbets Field. Being an even number year, the National League will get home field, so whoever wins the NL will host games 1 and 2. In the American League, Tigers 2 up on the White Sox, 4 up on the Yankees, 5 up on Cleveland. The Red Sox, again, a good year for them. Overall, 8.5 back. Then Baltimore, Washington, and Kansas City will be waiting a long time for Lenny Dawson. And I forgot to change the stat page. Kennedy 0 for 1. There'll be Kennedy, House, and Bowling here, or Tuttle, in the 4th. He talked, Appa's considering a cricket game. They talked about that, was it last year or the year before, when he was on with Dave and I. I'll believe it when I see it. You would think a basketball game would be where he would go, but that's not for me to discuss. Pitch to Kennedy is a base hit right field. Rivera will throw it back in. For Frank House, who's 0 for 1. I'm not sure a cricket game would sell. I have international cricket, which is quite similar to an APA-style game. But again, would people play it? And do enough people watch cricket in this country? I mean, there are no household names. Pitch, speaking of which, House swings, ground ball to Fox. Aparicio for 1, Dropo for 2. Nelly was on the grass when he fielded that. Underhanded it to Aparicio. Over to Dropo for the out. Release in 2027 for basketball. I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, I guess he didn't address. Dave watched it. Tuttle has singled his first time up. Pitch to Tuttle. There is a ground ball to third. Hatfield makes a tremendous stop over to Dropo, and that will retire the side. Tigers go down. Hatfield with a very good play. No runs, no hits, no, there was a hit, and there was a double play. After 4, 3-0 White Sox. So everything old is new again, I guess, for Appa. It'll be Fox, Doby, and Minoso to face Foytak here in the 5th. Nelly tripled, drove home a run, scored, and walked. There is a chopper down to third. Kennedy halfway in there, and he'll just eat it. So Fox, they'll reach. That's a second hit. Here's Doby. Larry, 2-run double in the first, and is also struck out. He's 1 for 2. How you doing, Triple G? How did golf go yesterday? There is a chopper to second. Bowling goes to Keene for 1, but Doby will reach as the throw back to Torgerson is late. So a fielder's choice for 6. Minoso 1 for 2 with a strikeout. Andy saw a copy of Appa Basketball in Connecticut. Jeff had the he also had the horse racing game. Bowling game is fun. All right. Oh, I will. Okay, I will do that. Remind me. Rained out yesterday. Hopefully you had a good vacation and the weather hasn't been too hot in the prairie. Minoso 1 for 2. There is a line drive to Bowling, and Doby is retired. So Doby's back to first because I'm paying attention. 2 out for Rivera. Jim is struck out twice. He's 0 for 2. There is a ground ball past Keene in the left field. Maxwell will pick it up. Doby will try for third. Maxwell trying to find the needle in the haystack, throws to Kennedy, and Doby is safe. Rivera moves to second. So runners on the corners, 2 out for Lawler. Sherm 0 for 2 with a K. Foytak struggling here on a beautiful night in Motor City. Todd B says Appa Basketball has been on the table for a long time. He's at the half. Oh, that's great. Hey, Todd, you are our resident PC replay basketball expert. How long does it take you to play a game? Someone asked about that, and it's been so long since I played, I honestly can't remember. Lawler 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Foytak deals. Well, Foytak and House have a visit. Paul deals, and Lawler draws the walk, so the White Sox have them loaded here in the 5th. 3-0 Chicago. Here's Dropo, 0 for 2 with a K. Jerry Howarth said my voice is somewhat similar to Jerry. Was a longtime broadcaster for the Jays. Was Tom Cheek's number 2. Tom spent some time in Vermont at WJOI here in Burlington, 1230 on your dial. Purveyors of soft and easy favorites. Sleepy Go Bye-Bye music for people who like to go sleepy go bye-bye. And Tom also did some work, I believe, at WSYB in Rutland, 1380. Now also playing music, which is a rarity in the AM dial. Before getting the call to be the initial play-by-play voice of the Toronto Blue Jays. Pitch to Dropo is a high ground ball to Bowling over to Torgerson. And the White Sox threaten but do not score. They leave him loaded, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors. Halfway home on a 68-degree day. It is Chicago 3, Detroit nothing. Joined us late. The heat broke. Oh yeah, the ball game too. 3 runs, 8 hits, and error for the White Sox. No runs, 3 hits, and no errors for the Tigers. Larry Doby doubled home 2 in the first as the White Sox sent 7 to the plate to lead it 2-0. In the second, Nellie Fox tripled home Dick Donovan to make it 3-0 Chicago. Who says pitchers can't hit? And in the fifth, the White Sox threatened again, failed to score on 2 hits and a walk. So the pitcher, Dick Donovan for the White Sox, 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. And Nellie Fox, 2 for 2 and a triple. And Nurse Britt, 1 for 1 with the most difficult client in the world in wherever you are right now. Don't let him get away with anything. He's not supposed to do it. Dick Donovan, 4 innings, 3 hits, and 3 strikeouts. 70 pitches through 4. Foytek, he has struggled. Paul, 5 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs all earned. He has walked 2 and struck out 7. On 101 pitches, he has thrown a lot. Yeah, one of the reasons why I didn't play replay basketball was there wasn't a lot of vintage seasons. I don't think Pete even does the seasons. He does them for baseball. Our initial color guy was Early Wynn. Yep. Never heard him, but I did know that. Bowling, Foytek, and Keene to face Donovan here in the fifth. Frank 0 for 1 as we start the bottom of the fifth. Hour and a half is how long it takes Todd B to play. Yeah, I figured there's no quick play basketball. Not for a full play game. Pitch to Bowling. Struck him out. That's 4 for Dick. 1-2. Fouled in the glove of Lawler. And there's 1 out for Foytek, who's 0 for 1. Paul will stay in the game. 3-0 White Sox, bottom of the fifth. There is a chopper up the middle. Aparicio over to first. And Foytek is out for Harvey Keene. Harvey has reached base twice today. He got hit by a pitch, reached on an error, but it won't help that batting average as he's sitting on a 15-game hitting streak. Donovan deals. There is a ground ball to Fox over to Dropo, and they finally get Keene. So 2 out. Oh, that will do it. After 5, Tigers go in order. A beat. It is the White Sox 3, the Tigers nothing. So Hatfield, Donovan, and Aparicio to face Foytek. Fred 0 for 2. Left center field, back goes Tuttle, and Fred will make the catch. A leaping catch against the wall. And remember, no padding out there in the 50s. So Fred rubs some dirt on the shoulder. Dick Donovan takes his time to get set. Dick has doubled twice today and scored once. Poor Greg is stuck with Buck Martinez now. And Pat Tabler on television. Pitch to Donovan. There is another base hit for Donovan. Would you believe that? And he has his 3rd double of the ball game. He just hit one of those seeing eye things into the alley in right center. And Donovan turned on his blinker because when you have a 1 speed in this game, that's not an afterburner. And somehow he stole second. And so he came into this game with 1 double on the replay, and now he has 4. Foytek just stands on the mound and shakes his head. Aparicio 1 for 3. Louis has a double and a run scored. He's also struck out. Wojtek, 27 batters, 107 pitches, 5 1/3, 9 hits, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Greg says, when I was a kid going to Expos games the first couple seasons, Larry Doby was a third base coach. Wow. And would often come out to the bleachers and talk to us. Did you go swimming in the pool at Cherry Park? People think that the first pool at a ballpark was in Phoenix. It was not. It was Montreal. You still have to endure. So who's Buck's color guy? Tabler retired. Pitch to Aparicio. Ground ball to Bowling behind the bag at second, over to first, and Louis is out. So Donovan moves over to third. Nurse Britt's going to be giving Donovan another mellow yellow here in a moment. Fox 2 for 2. Nelly has tripled, driven in his 47th. Scored and walked. Had a busy day. There is a hard ground ball to first. Torgerson takes it to the bag, and Fox is retired. No runs, a hit, no errors. Bottom of the 6th here in Detroit. Detroit trails it 3-0. So Torgerson, Maxwell, and Kaline. Donovan, 19 batters, 81 pitches, 5 innings, 3 hits, and 4 strikeouts. P-Jet, how are you? Happy summer to you. There is a high ground ball to Fox, over to first, 1 out. How's the weather for you, P-Jet? P-Jet did the shout-out before the most recent episode of Digital Dice. Charlie Maxwell has struck out once. He's 0 for 2. Dan Schulman. Okay. One of the great modern voices. Buck, I thought, was a good color guy. Pitch to Maxwell. And Charlie draws the walk. Tigers aren't out of this one yet. Here's Kaline. Al has struck out twice. That is a high ground ball to Aparicio. He goes to Fox for 1, and that's it. Maxwell with that roll block slide, and there's 2 out. 90s in Virginia. It finally broke here, 68. Most of the new construction in Vermont does have central air. You need it. It was, I'm sure Big Dave knows that it was hotter in Syracuse on Monday than it was in Orlando. Kennedy 1 for 2. He's got himself a single. 68 in Toronto. Upper 60s on the Prairie. You know, warm up again this week, but not stay hot. There's a fly ball, center field. Back goes Doby. Makes the catch. What an acrobat. After 6, 3-0 Chicago. Every time Triple G mentions the Prairie, all I can see is Melissa Gilbert and that other little girl running down the hill. See what you don't pay for on this channel. So Wojtek will get the 7th. It'll be Doby, Minoso, and Rivera to face Paul. Larry 1 for 3. He has doubled and driven in 2. He now has 57. With the humidex, is that what you call it? We call it heat index here. 111 in Toronto on Tuesday. Almost as hot as the Maple Leafs front office. I didn't realize you'd left. You wanted to update. Well, that's not good. Pitch to Doby. There is a liner to center, and that's going to drop. And Tuttle misplays it, so Doby's going to have a single and reaches on the air by Tuttle. 10 for Bill. A 967 in center field is awful. So Tuttle, not a great defensive fielder. Wojtek shakes the head. Here's Minoso, Mini 1 for 3, a single and a strikeout. Lifelong Red Wings fan. It's only 61 in Edmonton. That's right. So you were happy on Hockey Night in Canada a lot growing up. Pitch to Minoso. There's a ground ball to Torgerson. Earl to the bag. Manoso's retired. Doby moves to third. One out for Rivera. So Greg is liking the fact that the Maple Loops front office is being tortured. Jim Rivera 1 for 3. He has singled and struck out twice. Wojtek struck out 7 of his first 8 bat outs and then hasn't had a strikeout since the third. Won't this time either. Ground ball to Bowling. They'll take the sure out at first, and it's 4-0 Chicago with 2 out in the top of the 7th. For Sherm Lawler, who is 0 for 2, he has walked and struck out. Wojtek deals. High ground ball to third. Kennedy's got it. Over to Torgerson. Stretch time in Detroit. 4-0 Chi Sox. It'll be House, Tuttle, and Bowling here in the 7th. Frank 0 for 2, grounded into a double play. Mr. Waterfield, who lives in Alberta, won't like this. Greg, 35 years before the Wings finally won, and then he's hoping the Leafs have a one day of a perfect season. 0-82. Even I'm not that cheated. If you need a good cry, there's a good 15-minute video on the tube with Stanley Cup lifts. The moments that they do that with and all that. And, of course, in that is the Ray Bork moment getting the cup from Joe Sakic. But, yes, if you need an excuse to cry, that'll give you a good one. Pitch to House, who's 0 for 2. Ground ball to second. Fox behind the bag, 1 away. Long-suffering Vikings fan, Triple G says, my dad's favorite saying is just one before I die. I tell you what, my dad, Triple G, was a huge Buffalo Bills fan. Tuttle, by the way, 1 for 2. Bills got a single. And I told him that I would gladly trade one of those Red Sox World Series I got to watch just to see him see a Super Bowl winner. And unfortunately, he never did. They were undefeated in 2005. The Leafs. Just like UVM football, undefeated since 1975. And again, everyone else is undefeated too. Pitch to Tuttle. There is a ground ball to Fox over to Dropo, and Bill is retired. Oh, your dad turns 80 tomorrow? God bless him. Does he play golf with you or no? Frank Bowling 0 for 2. He has struck out once. They did win the final NFL championship. Oh, the Vikings? Yes. And then got 23 horsepower trapped in that Super Bowl by Hank Stram's toupee. Pitch to Bowling. Struck him out. 5 for Donovan. We go to the 8th. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 7, White Sox 4, Tigers nothing. Chances are they play again on Saturday, which would be our next game day. So this would be the next stream, would be the White Sox and the Tigers. Oh, he says golf is a dumb game. And as Triple G has hooked his 3 hybrid into the woods, past the beer cart, into the vegan hot dog cart, he agrees it's a dumb game too. Joe Cap did something that not even Warren Moon did. He won a Rose Bowl, he won a Grey Cup, and an NFL championship. Warren Moon won 2 of the 3, but it wasn't an American Professional Championship. Dropo 0 for 3 with the K. Wojtek starts the 8th, and Dropo draws the walk. For Hatfield, Fred 0 for 3. Right back to Foytak. Bowling for 1. Torgerson for 2. A 1-4-3 double play, and there's 2 out for the red-hot Dick Donovan, who somehow, some way, has doubled 3 times today. He is 3 for 3. He has also scored once. Struck him out. They finally get Donovan, and that will take care of the White Sox in the 8th. No runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom 8, Chicago 4, Bengals nothing. But yeah, Bud Grant won an NBA championship with the Lakers, an NFL championship, and coached 4 Grey Cup winners. Winnipeg, if I remember correctly, right? It's a great picture of Bud a few years ago when the Vikings were playing outside, when they did that interim period between the Metrodome and U.S. Bank Stadium. And Bud's running out with the rest of the team. I think it was a playoff game. And the wind chill is right around 0. And Bud, at 88 years old, is running out there in a polo shirt. God bless him, right after my own heart. Todd B. is just waiting for a Brown Super Bowl appearance. And Deshaun Watson is just waiting for a massage, yes. Oh, the Seattle playoff game. I mean, that was just one. I mean, I'm sure there were people who were watching that was just absolutely horrified. Foytak is not going to bat. So Paul's day is done. Who can hit a righty? And it's going to be Ray Boone. Boone as a pinch hitter, 3 for 5, I'd imagine. A homer and 2 RBI. Overall, 331, 20 homers, and 75 RBI. Greg says Bud Grant came to Winnipeg every year to go fishing with old friends. Oh, that's nice. And Triple G says when he coached at the Met, he would not allow heaters on the Viking sideline. And the rules were that if you did for one, you had to do the other. So everybody froze. Yeah, if you're out there at below 0 in a polo shirt, I'll do it when it's in the 30s. That qualifies you as a tough guy. Pitch to Boone. There is a ground ball to Dropo. 1 out. For Harvey Keene, still looking to get that hitting streak to 16 games. He's been hit by a pitch, reached on an error, 0 for 2. Donovan, 27 batters, 108 pitches, 7 1/3, 3 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. That is liner past Fox, and Keene has a 16-game hitting streak. So finally, in the box score, it looked like Harvey was productive. Here's Torgerson, Earl, 1 for 3 with a single. And he drew the walk. So first and second, the Tigers may be wearing down Donovan now at 115 pitches. Here's Charlie Maxwell. Charlie has walked and struck out. He's 0 for 2. Lawler and Donovan have a word from the stretch. Struck him out, and that's 6 for Donovan. 2-2, and Maxwell chased one outside the zone. Now, Kaline has struck out twice. He's 0 for 3. Yeah, below freezing isn't too bad if there's a little. I'm with you, Triple G, but when it falls below 0, yep, I don't go outside. And its players, both in Canada and the U.S., all stood still for the anthem. Yep. Pitch to Kaline. Fly ball, center field. Back goes Doby. That's well hit, but it's a big yard, and Larry will make the catch. And we're through 8. No runs, a hit, no errors. Tigers have left on 7. We go to the 9th in a 4-0 White Sox lead. So who are we bringing in? I can't bring in Larry. Could bring in Masterson or Aber. It is righty, lefty, lefty. We're going to go with Al Aber, and will make the defensive switch. So Ray Boone, the 5 at third, comes into play third. Aber, 33rd appearance, 6-1 on the replay, a 2.32 ERA. Second in saves with 9, a stat that didn't exist in 1956. 29 years old, fastball at 85, and a ground ball plus pitcher. Can you imagine Butkus in today's game with all those prima donnas? Yes. And the first time Terrell Owens or anyone like that did anything on a logo, they would be permanently part of the logo, just like Tony Eason is part of the Superdome. Aber's last appearance was 3 days ago against Cleveland in an 18-8 blowout. He went 1 inning, 23 pitches, a hit and a walk. Overall for Al, easy for me to say, 42 2/3, 42 hits, 17 runs, 11 earned. He's allowed 3 homers. He's walked 16 and struck out 9. Half of Butkus' tackles will get flagged today. Yeah. Aparicio, Fox, and Doby. Aber will be pinch hit for in the bottom of the 9th. It'll be pinch hitter House and Tuttle to face Donovan, maybe. Aparicio 1 for 4. Louis has a double and a run scored and a strikeout. Ray Nitschke as well. Yeah. There is a ground ball to Keene over to Torgerson for the out. And one of those lost treasure specials they did about 25 years ago for NFL films. One of them focused on the late 60s and featured an absolute bench-clearing brawl between the Chiefs and the Raiders. Something that today, I think if it happened 20 years ago, would still be the lead story on SportsCenter. It was one of the most brutal brutal sports brawls I've ever seen. I think it rivaled the Malice in the Palace for its brutality. But it didn't get put on the highlight shows. Nellie Fox is 2 for 3. He has single, tripled, scored, driven in a run, and walked. Now they would just put the nose back in place, Todd. Those were the best games to watch. Ground ball to third. Boone across the way to Torgerson for the out. Who was it that Cap attacked at that reunion press conference? Talk about holding a grudge. My word. Larry Doby 2 for 4. Larry has a single, a double. He doubled home those 2 runs in the first and scored. In the AFL, Greg's favorite team was the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers. That 63 team, Angelo Mosca. Maybe the greatest offense that you've never heard of. Pitch to Doby. There's a ground ball to Bowling. Frank over to Torgerson, and Aber gets the White Sox in order. He will not hit here. After 8.5, no runs, no hits, no errors. White Sox 4, Tigers nothing. So a pinch hitter, it'll be Red Wilson. Red has a pinch hit at least. Hitting .319 overall, 6 homers and 23 RBI. He just had a hip replacement. He'd need one after that beatdown. Man. Fly ball right center. Back goes Doby. Imagine being in line at like a 7-Eleven or your favorite grocery store and you run into some idiot that you knew in high school. And instead of reaching out and shaking a hand and going, "How you doing?" you take that package of bread you got there and you just beat the crap out of him. "You stole my girlfriend, you son of a gun." Yeah. Here's Frank House. He's 0 for 3. Or the rival who scored on you in a basketball or football game. "You son of a gun. I still can't forgive you for hitting that 3-pointer on me." Get over it. Pitch to House. Fly ball, left field. Back goes Minoso. Minnie running into the track and makes the catch. 2 out for Bill Tuttle. So Donovan 1 out away from a 4-hitter. Tuttle 1 for 3. Top is Unitas card showing. Yeah, there's a whole thread of what are you doing in that uniform on a few boards. And Unitas in a Chargers uniform really is there. And it's one of those Topps airbrush jobbies. So there's not even any lightning bolts on it. Pitch to Tuttle. Last chance saloon here. Aparicio over to Dropo. And it will be a 4-0 win for the White Sox. And they climbed to within 1 game of first place. So 2 hours and 48 fake minutes. The White Sox go to 60-44. 4 runs, 10 hits, an error. The first place Tigers fall to 63-45. They had 4 hits and an error. White Sox leave on 8. The Tigers left on 7. Dick Donovan not only throws a 4-hit shutout, he had 3 doubles. And of course, he's your digital ice MVP. The grudge from Cap stemmed from a 1963 Grey Cup game. 40 years. It'd be 40 years. When Mosca hit Willie Fleming and outed him for the rest of the game. Triple G has that same Unitas card. Fleming averaged 9.7 a carry. My word. Donovan goes to 10-8, by the way. 9 innings, 4 hits, 3 for 3, or 3 for 4 at the plate. 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. Foytak 11-7. 8 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs, all earned. 3 walks and minus stuff and struck out 8. And Aber with a clean 9th. And so as we post this to the board, it's a 1-game spread. So you'll see Chicago and Detroit when we're with you again. The rest of this Friday the 10th, Cubs beat the Cardinals up at Wrigley 2-1. Hacker goes to 7-8. Vinegar Ben Meisel 7-11. Mixis hits his 12th, goes 2 for 3. Philly beat Brooklyn. Wow. Meyer beat Magley 1-0. And Meyer, who needs a DH? 1 for 3. It's his 2nd home run. Pirates beat the Giants 4-1 in Pittsburgh. Bob Friend 12-10. Dick Littlefield falls to 1-4. Bill White 2 for 3 hits a 17th. Whites are the National Senators fall to the Red Sox 8-5. Tom Brewer 10-10. Chuck Stobbs falls to 10-8. Dick Gernert hits his 10th, goes 2 for 4, drives in 2. Yankees climb to within 3. They beat the Orioles at the stadium 5-2. Whitey Ford 14-6. Moore falls to 4-9. George Kell 2 for 4 hits a 6th. Cleveland keeps pace with the Tigers. They beat Kansas City 8-5. Actually, I believe everyone gained a game. So Cleveland is 4 back. Lemon 10-11, Burnett 1-4, and Rocky Colavito 2 for 5, a triple and a double. Milwaukee beat Cincinnati to to get to 12.5 back. Crone 7-8. By the way, the final there was 6-4. Brooks Freeman goes to 6-6. Doug Crandall 2 for 3, hits his 15th, and drives in 2. We take Milwaukee Cincy off the board. Wilson and Larry, we'll see. I'm not sure about tomorrow or not. Wifey has an appointment. Depends on that. If not, we'll post something on Facebook and see you sometime over the weekend. Until then, I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for watching. The final score again. White Sox 4, Tigers nothing. We'll see you soon. Have a good one, everybody.